precisely like that. What?
Thank you. You can develop later. Okay. Now let's go to Istvan.
Thank you so much, dear colleagues. Welcome. In my short contribution, I'd like to deal with the new phase of Afro-Asian engagements. And basically, that is what we have been witnessing, because it has been in the making, certainly, in the course of the couple of first decades of our new century. So a new type of Afro-Asian dynamics on the rise. And I would like to focus on human agency, strengthened human agency, which is very much in line with what we have been discussing. For instance, very much resonates well with what Beatrice also talked about, how to reach out more to publics at large and people becoming actors, basically, and not just governments talking about the revitalization of the Bandung spirit. So we live in an age of insecurities, and from so many angles that has been addressed very punctually. Growing number of insecurities. We've just heard, for instance, connected to, of course, migration and international migration, but there are so many other vivid inequalities we know about. And there is, or I would say rather there should be, even more need for cooperation, but we see that certainly solidarity has been under the pressures of all these daunting challenges we have been witnessing, and also the G20 declaration, yes, rightly mentioned earlier, talked about those. So one of the questions I'd like to raise in the wake of the G20 summit in Bali is whether there is a chance for the creation of a better world via reaffirmed Afro-Asian solidarity. And as my country compatriot Anna Maria Artner wrote it recently in a publication, many actors in the global south, and I quote her, oppose Western hegemony and are open to cooperation with the newly emerging powers. So coordination of the cooperation with other groupings and unions of the global south, G77 and others, and first of all, with the BRICS is needed. I agree with that, certainly. A revitalization of the non-aligned is praised, as we have been witnessing by numerous countries of the global south. And actually, to underscore its importance, I would add, we should be able to foster globalization with a human face, or more of a human face. And this basically means to reveal yet another context of behavior with regard to globalization, to global interactions and connectivity matters. Among several of the ingredients of a better world, we can refer to a paper by Rodnick and Walt in the Foreign Affairs, talking about building more trust to enhance transparency and to give a larger playground for mediation and diplomacy to avoid war and make a more secure environment for all. And actually, they also mention this considerable room growing for human agency, which can therefore, as they also argue, limit great power rivalry. And that is, I think, a crucial point for us in the coming years. The revival of Afro-Asian nations in terms of their voice that cannot be replaced by anyone, as Parameswaran wrote it in 2015, after the summit in Bali, certainly can be heard more and more. Basically, one of the researchers at Chatham House, Ben Bland, director of the Asia Pacific program, wrote in light of this, and I quote, Indonesia won't always see eye to eye with its Western partners. At the same time, it won't always agree with China. While Jakarta tries to maintain a balance between these rival blocs, it speaks in a different voice to each. And I would like to grab this balancing, but also self-confident, unique voice that can show a good example to others within the non-aligned movement and the global south in general, I would say. So amidst insecurities, amidst inequalities, in this era of insecurity, basically, what we see is that there is an ever so growing need for this human face of globalization, human face of the international system. And just to conclude, basically, with all the contrasts and contradictions that characterize this global context of ours, a new restructured world order is called upon, with decisive voices and participation from the Afro-Asian realm of relations. And there are so many good examples for that, not just the Chinese in Africa, but there are so many other Asian engagements, meaningful Asian engagements all across, and the other way around. A multipolar order with a human face and behavior of multilateral governance seems to be in need. Definitely not something that reproduces capitalist struggle for power and competition for geopolitical positions. An adjacent question is about leadership, of course, and we also dealt with that during the conference series last year in Indonesia. Who are capable of leading the world into this direction and with the aim to set up such a new structure of governance? And I agree with Blunt's statement about this, quote, value of non-aligned leadership, which was shown to the world at the G20 meeting in Bali, can be a point of reference. Why not such a turn in international politics? Why not such a shift in global governance? And thus restructuring existing pillars, mechanisms, and processes. So I confidently say that any better world can be imagined only if it comes with a human face. And that is basically what we can or might be witnessing more in the Afro-Asian realm of behaviors and interactions in the coming years. Thank you very much.
Thank you.